Speaking of hope, I would like to welcome Ambassador Salman Elherfi, who served as the Palestinian ambassador to Paris. We were very happy to host and hear your take of the conference and of our future.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. First of all, allow me to express myself and the happiness that I'm here in Hebrew University. Thanks, Mr. President of Hebrew University. Thanks, Madam Master of Ceremony. All my thanks to my colleague, the Chargé d'Affaires of Spain and for Spain, to remind us to the Madrid conference. Thanks to the Truman Institute to organize this memorial evening for the Madrid conference 30 years ago. And we are happy as Palestinians to find all our friends to believe once again and to continue to believe in the peace process. Minister, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to be here with you, marking the 30th anniversary of the Madrid International Peace Conference that laid the foundation of the genuine peace in the Middle East based on the formula of land for peace. Already 3 decades have passed since then, yet more effort needs to be done for peace to prevail, foremost of its genuine international solution that enforce the Madrid formula on all parties to the conflict, mainly and namely Israel. We cannot forget, never, the statement made by former Prime Minister of Israel in that time, Mr. Shamir, after Madrid, when he said he attended the conference without any intention to reach an agreement. He even admitted he was prepared to negotiate for tens of years without yielding any tangible result. This is what he said. Unfortunately, this has been the guideline for so many prime ministers who came after Shamir, unfortunately. With the exception of the late Prime Minister Rabin and former Prime Minister Olmert, every other prime minister in Israel wanted to manage, I say to manage the conflict rather than to solve the problem. To manage the conflict rather than to solve it. In doing so, the inevitable outcome was and continues to be very clear for all the universe. Perpetuation of the Israeli occupation that started in June 1967. Yes, it was peace of Egypt. Yes, there was a treaty of peace with Jordan. Yes, we have normalization with Arab Emirates, with Bahrain, with Sudan, with Morocco. But when every single Israeli every day opened his window, he didn't see any of them. He saw the Palestinian. So the Palestinian problem is the core of the problem. we can sign hundreds of agreements. It's not solved the problem. It's not ended the situation. It's not reaching a real peace in the region. The core of the problem remains the Palestinian question, the peace with the Palestinians. For the past 10 years, we will witness how former Prime Minister Netanyahu tried to evade the Madrid formula by offering his own formula, his own peace for peace formula, which is by offering his own peace for peace formula, which did not get either party anywhere, neither Palestinian or Israelis, other than rapid hike in the settlement activities, takeover of the Palestinian properties, and evicting their owners, ongoing arbitrary detention of hundreds of Palestinian activists who voice their rejection of the occupation, along with holding no less than 4,000 Palestinian immigrants, most of them political prisoners, parliament members in Israel jails, and cold-blooded killing of Palestinian kids, youth, by triggering happy Israeli soldiers to shoot. And the only reaction by the occupying power is blaming the victims as usual and hailing the shooters. This is a humiliation for a people. You cannot control the Palestinians forever. You can win the war. You can occupy. We have a 100 years of war. Enough is enough. I think so the Israeli people and the Palestinian people, they need peace, real peace. We are ready for that. We have our Mandela. We're looking for our de Klerk on the other side. Peace needs a courage leadership, like Rabin and Arafat, like Abu Mazen and and Peres. We need real leadership, which is the problem actually that still up 30 years without reaching a real peace. Contrary to many allegations circulating all over the PLO, has been seeking since 1969. I have the honor to participate in the meetings preparing for the one-state solution in 1969 February, when we declared that we are ready to live, Jews, Muslims, Christians, and others, in peace with equal rights, like what happened in South Africa, but was rejected by Prime Minister Golda Meir. Then we tried to talking about how we can manage to another way and means, and we educated our people in the culture of peace. Since 1969, we're working for peace process, and we present many initiatives. In 1988, the PLO at the Palestine National Council in Algiers endorsed the two-state solution on the 1967 line. However, Israel has failed until this very moment to define where her borders are in the two-state reality. Every state in the world defines her borders except Israel. Sometimes we hear that our border, it's in where the foot of our soldiers arrive, or where is the dangers coming from. Yesterday was Iraq, today is Iran, tomorrow we don't know, maybe another continent. This is the will to make peace. There is a will to make peace by the Israeli leader. Up to now, they didn't show up. While avoiding to name the borders, Israel has systematically enforced fait accompli measures on the ground to prejudice the outcome of any peace talks. That's to create settlement, more settlement. It's a concurrence between this prime minister and that prime minister who can make more settlement to destroy the two-state solution. In the benefits of whom? When you don't like one-state solution, when you don't like the two-state solution, what you like? You want to impose on us, I mean the Israeli government, I don't mean the Israeli people. Do you want to impose on us an apartheid regime, like what you've done today? Do you like to be named by racist nation who are exercising apartheid? I don't think so the Israeli people like that. I don't think so that any Israeli want to be an apartheid person. You are a democratic society. And you have a responsibility not to deny the existence of a people. Since 100 years, trying to deny the existence of the Palestinian people. Sometimes we call them Arab, sometimes we call them terrorists, sometimes we call them with all names. But the reality is there is a Palestinian people recognized by more 100 states all over the world. 2012, the United Nations recognized the state of Palestine as an observer member to the UN. It is time that the whole government of Israel to recognize the reality of the existence of the Palestinian people, their rights of self-determination, the rights of their own state on the border of June 1967, which is the occupied territory of Palestine. No nation on earth accepts to live in the fifth of their historical land. We accept it. We're suffering a lot to do that. We work as a leadership to a lot of work to convince our people. Yes, the Israeli government wants peace talking, but they didn't want to talk to Mahmoud Abbas. They didn't want to recognize the two-state solution. This is what we hear from Prime Minister Bennett, Naftali Bennett. So if you want to make peace, you make it with your enemy. You cannot make it with your friends only. Peace is with courageous. We are here, and we will remain here. No Nakba more. No more Nakba. And we are very flexible. We do all our homework to convince our people to accept the two-state solution. It means to have the fifth of our historical land. And we respect the international legality. We respect the United Nations, not to escape to have UN as observer in Madrid. And happy to have a mixed Palestinian Jordanian delegation in Madrid. But the reality, after the first day opening, we split in two delegations. And we didn't reach an agreement in Madrid. We go to Washington. And later on, we find ourselves in Oslo, Palestinian and Israelis, and we reach the Oslo agreement. But unfortunately, when they assassinate Rabin, it was a message for us that those who assassinate Rabin, they want to assassinate the peace process. But our belief in peace process, they cannot assassinate it, and we have the will to carry on and to make peace with not only our neighbors, but also our partners, But we always looking for a courageous partner. We still have our Mandela, and we are looking to our de Klerk among the Israelis. Thank you.